In today's show, we're going to be checking out the latest build of Final Fight MD, and we're going to be looking at this, a custom-built Mega Final Fight console and game. My name's Mike, and this is the Retro Gamer Boy Show. It's no secret that I'm a huge fan of Final Fight coming to the Mega Drive and Sega Genesis. It's taken me months to build a custom console, and I spent hundreds doing it. And then they changed the name from Mega Final Fight to Final Fight MD. But it's okay, I'll just put a little sticker over my TV screen so it says Mega at the top. In all seriousness though, I do prefer Mega. I think Mega represents the effort the developers put into it, represents the quality of the work of these ports coming over from different consoles, the arcade, onto our Mega Drive and Sega Genesis. Mega Final Fight, Mega R-Type, Mega Batman Returns. MD's fine, just feels a little bit functional, and the game seems to play second fiddle in that naming convention. Final Fight Mega Drive, Batman Returns Mega Drive. It's just a little dry, just a personal opinion. Anyway, what we're going to do is take a look at some of the additions they've made to the game. Others have made video of the latest build, so I'm going to play the last level that's been added. We'll play through that, and then we'll look at the process I went through to build this custom Sega Mega Drive and game box, and finally do an unboxing of this custom build. And we're back with Final Fight MD, or Mega Final Fight. This is 𝗦𝗂𝗶𝗴's port of the arcade and a couple of other versions, I think like the Mega CD, over to the Mega Drive. You can support 𝗦𝗂 on his Patreon, that's what I do. I actually support him twice, so I support him as an alias account where I get all his updates. And then whenever he does a demo or a release of a new version of Final Fight, then I actually buy that post as well. And it's more expensive, but that way I'm supporting the developer as well. But I do that under a different account. Right, so we're going to play the latest update, and I know a load of people have covered this already. So what I'm going to do is just play one of the last levels, and then we're going to go on and have a look at the custom Mega Drive and the box that I've made for this game as well. So we'll just skip the intro for now. Right, so we're going to go into the options, and then just so that I don't die, and this is a super quick demo, I'm going to make this easy. Yes, I want everything. I'm old. No, that's okay. Right, we're going to go to stage 5-1, I think. We did 4-2 and 4-1. Let's do 5-1. And that will give you an inkling for how good this port is shaping up. It's unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. Guy. Oh, look at this. Look at it. It's insane. Oh, my God. Genius, absolute genius. How the Mega Drive is doing this. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's so responsive as well. So responsive. You know, I know some people say, what's the point of doing these kind of things? And that's fair enough. And I have that when I look at some games that are ported over from Super Nintendo to the Game Boy sometimes. But ultimately, it's the achievement of bringing something that was deemed impossible to do and making it possible, and then having it on a console that you love playing on. This is a game I desperately wanted. I played it in the arcades. You know, I started off on Double Dragon. That's where I found my love for beat 'em ups, and then this was the next game I played as a beat 'em up. And you know, Double Dragon evolved the genre, and then this took it even further. And ultimately, it's the game that inspired Streets of Rage 2, which is again one of the best beat 'em ups ever on a console. It's so good. I might as well be playing the arcade version. Look, you got lights in the background of some of the buildings flashing as well. Hey! Hello! The authenticity of this is... I've not come across it. Like, Mega R-Type maybe. The Windjammers work. But this is next level. Really is. So good. Can't remember if the arcade version had movement in the water. Yes please, I'll have it all. And the music as well. It's brilliant. Sound effects. Off we go, get out of here. Right. That's it. Classic beat 'em up position here. They're just off screen. I've got a handheld weapon and I'm just going to spam it. There we go. Cash, radio. Get those points in. I'll give it a rest. Doesn't make for good viewing just watching someone spam enemies off screen. Let's get rid of that. Thank you. Sometimes you need to do the punching. You need to feel like your fists are making contact with the enemy. Come on. Jumped at the wrong time there. It is absolutely brilliant. Oh, there's poison. Gotta somehow make sure I get her in the thumbnail. Lots of people seem to watch when you have poison on your thumbnail for a video. Oh, look how fluid that was. I threw the knife and then managed to change direction and take on the enemies coming in from the right. Oh, so good. Absolutely brilliant. I think some of the Super Nintendo, I think it was Poison, was she censored in the Super Nintendo version? It was a censored version. I mean, it was a lesser version anyway. You could only play one player on it, where you can play two players on this, and didn't have many enemies on screen, and the visuals were cut down quite significantly. Oh yes, the toilets. I remember seeing this in the arcade. Sexy. Sexy time happens in those toilets. Come on. Right, last few. And then we can move on. Oh, so many memories. We were going into the arcades, full of smoke. The adults' beer on the side. The big boys with their coins, reserving their space on the arcade machine. And then I'd take all my pocket money and go down and play beat 'em ups. Come on. Now these guys have got some energy. The other problem is with this pipe here is that it's one hit and they're down, whereas punching you can get them down a lot quicker. Did I throw it? I can't remember how I threw it. Was it down and throw? I can't remember how I threw the weapon. I might just have to spam this. Come on. Spam away. Right. Hey, okay. I'm going to end it there so that we can get on to looking at the console. But absolutely amazing. This is so good. So well done. Remember to drop down into the description and support him on his Patreon as well, especially if you want to get all the latest updates. Right, let's go make a console. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Did you know that over 60,000 people watch RGB videos every month? That's absolutely amazing, and we couldn't have done it without you. But here's the thing, less than 30% of you have actually subscribed. If you're enjoying the content like my retro gaming adventures, early indie game previews and classic Sega throwbacks, subscribing is the best way to support the channel. And guess what? It's completely free. Hitting that subscribe button helps me to continue to bring you awesome content that you love. Plus, you'll never miss out on our latest uploads. So if you haven't already, take a second and hit that subscribe button. Thank you for being part of this amazing community, and let's keep the retro gaming fun going. So to start with, I went ahead and bought a faulty Sega Mega Drive. This thing didn't have any kind of signal out, so I cleaned up the board, did a quick test on it, and it worked. So it just needed a bit of a clean. Drilled a little hole in the back here for the 60 Hz switch that I want to mod the console with. And then I got some low grit sandpaper and water and just proceeded to kind of rough up the surface, take off the logos and the paint, get this ready for spray painting. Now the inside was clean on the circuit board, but the actual metal inside was all rough. So I cleaned this all up as well, and I spray painted this with a metallic spray paint. Next up is the 60 Hz mod. This is pretty simple. I just have to do a little bit of soldering here. I'm not the best at doing this, but I'm competent enough that the mod will actually work. Then the switch actually needed a mod as well. So I've got one of these little plastic buttons here, and I'm just plastic welding this onto the actual switch that I'll be using for the 60 Hz mod. Now I like my cables to be nice and tidy, so I've just got some tape on these cables, and then I take this ribbon of cables underneath the circuit board as well, so that the 60 Hz switch can be at the back of the console. With everything spray painted and cleaned up, it's time to put the console back together again. Now onto the box art for the game, and here I wanted a more modern feel, so I went with the blue spine rather than the black spine, although I'm going to design a black spine version as well. And then it's onto the console's box art. Here I still wanted to feel very authentic, even though it's a modded console. I actually have the original console in the box art here, and the same with the controllers. Obviously when you open up inside, you've got the customized console and those customized wireless controllers. And now I've got my print through, and I'm just using compression folds here. This is when you push down on the card and then fold the card rather than scoring it and cutting into it. It doesn't damage the card and allows you to still carry out those folds that you need to do to get the box into shape. And then because I have anti-scratch plastic over the top of this, it's a treatment, it's quite a thick plastic that they put over the top. I actually use a hairdryer here just to heat up the plastic and make it a little bit more flexible, and that allows me to bend the corners without the plastic becoming brittle and snapping and exposing the card underneath. Building the inside of this special edition Sega Mega Drive for Mega Final Fight was probably the most complex piece. I hadn't done this before. A lot of my builds before where I've built the insides of boxes, I've just looked at what Sega did before, and that's just a lot of folding. But this needed a lot of cutting and gluing and measuring and took a lot of planning to get right. And then I wanted a black card finish to the whole box as well. And this is it, the end product. It's finally time to unbox the Mega Final Fight Special Edition console. So, like everything I do, I try to make it kind of semi-authentic or close to something you'd expect in the day in terms of materials and how things are put together. Obviously you can see by how I put this together, I took some liberties this time, especially with the insides, all custom built, still card, but less how Sega would have done it, and I wanted to kind of push what I could do there. But in terms of branding, if you know, like the Super Street Fighter European Special Mark 1 box that came out, I think there's a couple of others that came out as well, kind of very similar to that. Same with the branding and the wording on the side of the console, and then I've tried to keep it the same on the back as well. And I've drawn inspiration from a couple of models of the Sega Mega Drive Mark 1 with the different languages and different colors down here, and then up selling different peripherals that they had back in the day. And then I've chosen a couple of games on here as well. More beat 'em ups than anything else, obviously it being a beat 'em up on there. So we've got Altered Beast, which is not one of my favorites, but it is an absolute cult classic on the Sega Mega Drive. Golden Axe, one of my absolute favorites. Obviously Streets of Rage 2, another one of my favorites. And then we got Mega Final Fight as a screenshot over here. Right, let's open this up and take a look what's inside. So the first thing you'll notice as I open this up is we've got branding on the box as well, and then we've got this pull tab over here so that we can pull the box out. Now hopefully this should just slide out, and it does. Very nice. And then here we have the Mega Final Fight box. And it's all wrapped up. Took a long time to figure out how to design this and got all these elements to fit in there as well. It comes with the wireless joy pads. These are the 𝗴𝗺𝗂𝗂𝗿 wireless joy pads. I've taken off the branding obviously and then repainted them. They're supposed to have little Final Fight logos on there, but the company who was helping me with the logo stuff, they let me down. So these will go on later, and I'll put some still screens out when these are finally done and dusted. But we've got here This is the 𝗏𝗂𝗂 controller, and we've got two controllers in here for player 1 and player 2. Interestingly, this is a nerd fact here. As I was taking off the 𝗏𝗂𝗂 logo, the Sega logo is underneath it as well. So I'm wondering if these were originally Sega branded, because they did have the official Sega license, and then had to change them to 𝗏𝗂𝗂. But yes, two controllers in there, both infrared controllers. Then we've got our RF cable here, all nicely sealed. And then in here, packed away, we've got the RF receiver. That's going to have the logo on the top there. And then underneath that is the power brick. So again, all designed to pack on top of each other nice and neatly away there. Then we have the console. Now, the thing I'm most happy about on this console is the logo and how it's actually turned out. I was really worried I couldn't do a good enough job. I wouldn't do it justice. But it's come out really, really nicely. That looks lovely. And obviously I've done a light mod on here, so this is white. And then we've got the 60 Hertz button at the back here. But really, 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 really happy with how that's come out as well. So there's the console. And then, where do I put this? Let's put this down here. Then we've got the manual as well. And then underneath there, I've made a little section where we have the game. And I was in two minds when I did the game art. Do I go black spine because it's a Mega Drive Mark 1, wouldn't really have the blue spine in here. The Mega Drive 2, I think, was out in time for the blue spine games. Or do I go with the blue spine game because this game is coming out after the original release of Mega Drive games and the black spine stuff. So I went with the blue spine in the end, but I'm also going to do a black spine version as well, and I'll have the blue spine on my shelf, and then I'll have the black spine inside the box. Let's take a look at the game. So here's the game, and we've got the developer's logo down the bottom here, and I think I reference it in the legal text as well as having Capcom on the box, obviously. And then these are screenshots as well down the back here, and a number of different languages like you've got back in the day. This is a proper blue spine box, so the tab clips down as well at the top, which is pretty awesome. Then as we open it up inside, we have the cartridge, and we have the manual. I think I've got a little extra in there. Oh yes, I've got one of the transfers in there as well with the logo on there. I don't know if that's going to show up in the camera there. Just a little extra. I was going to do a poster, but I thought I'd put a kind of like collector's edition transfer in there. Right, let's have a look at the manual as well, because I went over the top again, played the game, captured screenshots for it for every single move. I also referenced like the Streets of Rage, the Final Fight CD manual as well, because it's very close, this game, to Final Fight CD. Let's see if I can get this manual out. Here we go. And then it's black and white, because the blue spine obviously had black and white manuals back in the day. So we've got the controls, welcome to Metro City piece, breakdown of different attacks on the screens, the description of what the health bars are, all the kind of cool stuff. Here's all the moves. So I went for a full proper manual, breakdown of the different levels, all that kind of good stuff. Epilepsy warning, battle tactics I put in there. So there's the manual as well. I'm so happy that Final Fight is coming to the Mega Drive and Sega Genesis. I love my beat 'em ups, and Final Fight was such a major player back in the day for the console. I've got it on the Mega CD, it's absolutely amazing on that, but this probably has to be one of the best ports of a game onto the Mega Drive. It's brilliant. Building up this was a lot of fun. I'm so happy with it. It is an amateur build, right? So there's little issues with it have here and there. I wish they were better, but I've learned a lot more from building this, and I'll do a better job next time. A little disappointed with the name, but it doesn't matter. Mega Final Fight, I like that title, so I'll be happy to have that in the games room. Now, the only problem I've got is, where do I put this?